What's good? It's Gacto on the Astros for the very first time. I'm super excited to start this journey with y'all of self-love, enlightenment, and your very own unique, special path to God. I hope y'all enjoy the universal content on this channel, and go ahead and hit that like button before we get started and subscribe to the galaxy, a system of stars, which is each and every one of you shining like the sun in your own abundance. Now, today's topic is astrology. What is astrology? Before I can tell you that, I gotta tell you what astronomy is first. Astronomy is the study of the universe and its contents outside of Earth's atmosphere. Now, astrology is how those contents affect us on Earth and the Earth itself. But why is astrology so important? Well, it's important because it encompasses and contains your very own special, unique path to God. And why does it do that? How does it do that? Well, we all know the zodiacs for the most part are animals. And the zodiacs represent your animal consciousness, your instinctual consciousness, your base consciousness. And as you evolve as a person, you will evolve through the signs of your zodiac into man consciousness or human consciousness or woman consciousness. And then up onto goddess consciousness or God consciousness. And that is how you reach enlightenment yourself. And when you reach that God consciousness, you will also be able to unlock and activate your crown chakra. But we'll get into the rest of that later and all the details and little nitpicky picky things that go on with that. For now, let's talk about where astrology came from and the origins of it. And for me to tell you that, I gotta take you somewhere far away and long ago, into a place called ancient Kemet, or as you know, as ancient Egypt. Now, in ancient Egypt long ago laid an artifact in the temple of Hathor, the goddess of the sky, love, and fertility, called the Dendera Zodiac, the first original zodiac and the first of its kind in human history and history on this earth in general. Okay, first in history, first ever, what you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? It's the first thing. But why is this Dendera Zodiac so important? The Dendera Zodiac is so important because it tells the story of the sky and the stars and the contents of the universe itself. Telling a story as the black woman, represented as the goddess Nut, is holding her hands out, stretching her hands out across the sky, representing that creation, which is feminine energy, spreads across the universe vast and wide. It is also important to note that Hathor translates also to House of Horus. And what do you all read on the daily? Your horoscopes. The Dendera Zodiac shows the 12 zodiacs, which can be compared to the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 trials of Hercules, the 12 disciples of Jesus, and the 12 original points of Freemasonry. Weird, right? I'm saying. Do your research on that. Because I don't know about you, but when I heard that, I was like, something ain't right here. There's something we don't know. But there's going to be a lot of things that you don't know that you get to learn on this channel. That's why you got to join the galaxy, subscribe, and hit that motherfucking like button. Okay? Because I'm only dropping gems for you right now. Anyways, the Dendera Zodiac was stolen by the French and taken back to be studied and further evolved into what we know today as modern astrology. But what's important to note is that the initial findings of the Dendera Zodiac showed that it dated back thousands of years before the biblical date of creation. Thousands of years before they say this planet, this earth, was created by God. Do your research, because I don't know about you, but it sounds to me like something ain't right. But why is it so important that the French stole this and took it back to be studied and further evolved into modern astrology? That's because ancient Egypt is in the Northern Hemisphere, as we both know. And if you didn't know, now you do. Let's just pretend you did. It was studied in the Northern Hemisphere. So that means that in the Southern Hemisphere, your information may not be all too right when it comes to, Northern astrology, if you follow Northern Hemispherical astrology. And why is that? That's because everything in the Northern Hemisphere astronomically, dealing with the stars and its constellations, is actually flipped when it comes to the Southern Hemisphere. What do I mean by that? Well, let me give you an example. When the winter equinox is happening in the Northern Hemisphere, the summer equinox is actually happening in the Southern Hemisphere. And when it comes to the constellations, well, the Aries sign, if you look up in the sky, is actually flipped in the Northern Hemisphere than it is in the Southern Hemisphere. And along with the rest of the sun signs, as the Gemini, the Taurus, the Scorpio, and the Libra. Can't forget Virgo. I fuck with my Virgos. Not trying to be biased. I got a lot of Virgo friends, you feel me? But that's not the point. The Dendera zodiac tells the tale of the sky and the stars and who you are as a sun sign. But you are not just your sun sign. That is why astrology is so important. You are composed of all the planets that revolve around the solar system, and you have a sign in each of them. You didn't know that, did you? And those signs relate to different aspects and part of your life. Your sun sign is just what radiates outward towards people and who people see you as, as your outward energy. But you have a lot of inward energy that makes up who you are that you don't want to show people, do you? You may not relate to yourself as a Libra because you may have a lot of Scorpio tendencies or a lot of Taurus tendencies that you just don't know why. And that also relates to how if you're in the Southern Hemisphere and you think that you're a Taurus, because of the Northern astrology, you may wonder why you relate to so many Scorpio traits. That's because Scorpio is actually your polarity of Taurus, and you are actually a Scorpio because the signs are flipped. So what you think you are in the Southern Hemisphere based on Northern astrology is actually flipped on your polarity when it comes to your sun sign. So if you're a Gemini based on Northern astrology, you are actually a Sagittarius. Makes sense to you, doesn't it, when you actually think about it and think about who you are. If you're an Aries in Northern astrology and you live in the Southern Hemisphere, you're actually a Libra. Didn't know that, did you? Some things are starting to click. I'm already knowing. Okay? If you are a motherfucking... If you're a Capricorn Northern astrology and you live in the Southern Hemisphere, you're actually a Cancer. Yeah, that's why you feel things a little more than you do in other people. Yeah, that's why you feel it, okay? Because that's not actually who you are. That is who you are. I'm glad I was able to clear a little bit of things up on that. And I'll go into further detail about that as I go through the planets to remind y'all of who you are and to remind y'all that, who you are based on Northern astrology may not be actually who you are in your Southern. But this only applies to your star sign because the constellations are the ones that are flipped from the Northern and Southern Hemisphere, not the planets, as they are revolving around the sun just like the other planets, and the moon is revolving around the earth. Okay, keep that in mind. It is based on your sun sign. So don't go flipping, your Venus, don't go flipping your Mars based on the polarities, because that's just not it. Okay, it is based on your sun sign, your star sign. That is what's flipped. Okay. Now, I'm going to go into further details of how the other planets in astrology make and encompass who you are based on your very own personal solar system of self that revolve around your soul, which is your sun. And I'm very excited to show y'all those different aspects. And that'll be what my next video is, what your planets mean to you and how they encompass your very own unique special path to God. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the galaxy and join this motherfucking star system. You feel me? Leave in the comments what sign you actually are if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, and if you didn't know that it was flipped based on, the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere astrologies. Because I'm curious to know, I'm curious to know if you didn't know that and if it makes more sense to you about who you are and gives you a little more sense of self. Also, leave in the comments what sign you think I am, because I want to know what y'all think I am before I reveal it to you as I go through the sun and the rest of the planets and the different signs within them, revealing different aspects of who you are. I will reveal different aspects of who I am, slowly but surely I will. And y'all eventually get to know me as I get to know y'all. So, it's like a little relationship. I'm not gonna give all my cards at once. I'm not gonna lay out all my cards. I'm gonna slowly put them down as y'all put yours down. You feel me? We're going together. This is our galaxy. This is our journey. Now I'm very excited to have it with y'all. Seriously. Also, leave in the comments what else you want to see on this channel, because it is not just astrology, it is universal knowledge itself. Gacto and the Astros, you feel me? Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Peace to the galaxy, much love to all. Gacto.